Enough of this running. Welcome to Watch Me Go Broke. Today's review is of a new watch. Well, it's not a new watch, actually. It's really old. Well, not really old, 90s, but it's new to me. Basically, I needed a new watch. I'm out of breath. I needed a new watch to get into my workout rotation because you guys know I usually work out with the Casio DW-290 or the Seiko Arnie, the re-release. And I'm going to keep the Arnie in the rotation, but I've decided to turn the DW-290 into a metal G-Shock. So I've got a kit coming from the People's Republic of China, and I'm going to turn it into a wonderful metal G-Shock that I can use at work. So I needed a watch to fill the gap, and I guess I decided on the Casio DW-290 because it's all the rage right now. So the DW-290 is the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible watch, and I use that phrase very loosely because I think he only wears it in one scene, and he doesn't really do anything cool. By the way, there it is, the Casio DW-290. He doesn't really do anything cool, so I mean, as far as movie watches go, this is probably the cheapest or one of the cheapest that you're going to be able to get with a little bit of movie history, albeit very thin. So by the way, I'm out here at this park that's close to an airport. It's actually really cool. I guess it's supposed to be a business park, but there's no businesses out here, so it's pretty much empty most of the time. So nobody has to see, my fat butt flopping up and down, which is kind of nice. So I'd come out here for a little jogging, but it's very futuristic. Is it jogging? I mean, or jogging? Well, it's not jogging. That's what they say in Sweden, I think, is jogging. So if you're in Sweden and you're watching this video, let me know if you say jogging or not. But yeah, so park is by the airport, but it's very futuristic. Like, it reminds me of Star Trek, like I'm at Starfleet Academy or something, jogging. So I guess it, it is what it is. So there you go, guys, the Casio DW-290. It's all the rage right now. I am going to send it back to the studio. I will let you know how my jog went, and I will see you in a second. So the jog went okay. I didn't set any records or anything, but I did go the full distance of about 3 miles or so there, so everything went okay. And here is today's watch. This is the Casio DW-290. This is not a G-Shock, although it does share a lot of features that are similar to the G-Shock, if not exactly the same. You've got 200 meters of water resistance, as you would find on a G-Shock. Pretty much, all good on the up and up with everything that you would expect from a Casio tool watch. So the dimensions are as follows. Kind of hard to measure the case shape because it's kind of wonky. I guess, it's different parts, but where I measured it, it's anywhere between 44 and 46 millimeters. Now that sounds really big, but it doesn't wear big at all, and I will explain that in just a second. So you've got 44 to 46 millimeter case, depending on where you measure it, a thickness of 13.5 millimeters, 49 lug to lug, and an 18 millimeter lug width that doesn't taper on this resin band down to the buckle. So the case, as typical for this style of watch, it's kind of a hard plastic with a stainless steel case back, 4 screws to screw down the case back, giving you that 200 meters of water resistance. There are 4 buttons that do various things for this particular timepiece. Pretty standard affair. So the crystal, I couldn't really find exactly what the crystal is. I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably some sort of acrylic or plexiglass. I don't think it's mineral, so you're going to see scratches on this. This watch is meant to be beat up, tore up, everyday task, working on cars, shooting up some bad guys, stuff like that. Yeah, all in all, pretty good. But you got 4 buttons around the outside that cycle through the various modes. Now, I'm not going to go through how to use every single mode, but I will say that this watch is very intuitive. You don't need the instructions or anything to figure out how to set the time or work it. I didn't have any trouble at all. So, not too bad. You've got quite a bit of writing on this this thing here. You've got electroluminescence up at the top, and then illuminator. That's kind of redundant. Then water resist 200M. You've got the Casio alarm chronograph across the top, and then descriptions of all the buttons. So mode, adjust, and then start, stop, on, off, light, and then light in blue there. So you know where the light is. Clearly, they've defined that very well. So the module in this particular version is pretty much the same as the DW-5600. So the main screen is the time, displaying the seconds. You've got the day of the week, that's Wednesday. The date, 9/8, that is today. And then across the middle, which, I'm not like a huge fan of that. You've got alarm, and then SIG, I'm not sure what that is, split, so you're going to be able to do split time with this, and then the light, whether it's on or off for your alarms and stuff, and I do have it set to on there. So the bottom left button at the, I guess it would be 8 o'clock position on a normal analog watch is mode, so you can cycle through the different modes. So you've got the time, this is the home screen here. Then it goes to alarm. So this is going to have an alarm that you can set daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. If you want to set, like if I want to set it to my wife's birthday, whenever that is, I can set it to only go off that day of the year. So pretty cool. That's a feature that's, I believe, a little bit different than the DW-5600. And then cycling through, you've got a timer. I've got a 1-minute timer here, which I'm going to start so you can see it go off. So begins a countdown timer. So cool if you're trying to stop bad guys in a certain amount of time. And then, of course, you've got cycling through the stopwatch. So that was my running time, 30:19 for that 3 miles. So don't bash me up on that too much. So starting the stopwatch there, start, stop, and then reset up here. You can also do split time. So if you want to go, you're doing a lap, and let's say your lap stops now, you can click that top button and you see the split light up. So it leaves it there so you know exactly what your lap time is. Press it again and it will resume the time as you are doing your timing thing. And there is the alarm going off. So I have the light on, so it's going to flash when the alarm goes off. So yeah, quite a few useful features in this watch. One thing that I like about this watch that's different from the other G-Shocks that I've seen is that the end links actually are right at the end of the case, which is the lugs are right at the end of the case, which is really good because in some of the other G-Shocks, they kind of like fold out and then go down. So they wear much bigger than their dimensions would say. So this is really good. So it's going to wear with the 49 lug to lug, wearing a lot smaller than the 44 to 46 millimeter case size for certain. I also like the fact that if you can see, it's held together with normal spring bars. So you're going to be able to take those spring bars out if you'd like. Put this on whatever strap, 18 millimeter strap you would like. If you want to put it on a NATO, put it on leather. You can class it up a little bit with some leather. You could do that if you wanted to. So you don't need the adapters that you're going to need for other watches. G-Shock watches, I should say. One other thing I do like versus the G-Shocks are these buttons are much more prominent. They're much more easy to operate, especially when you're running and you got to kind of find a button real quick. The only thing is this basically reset button or split time button. I wish that was like this button here. That would make it a little bit easier to press. So running and doing a split time is still challenging. So that would be something that they could change. But of course, this watch is never going to change. This is probably going to be discontinued at some point, I would assume, since it's a an older model, but or at least updated at some point. So the band is a nice resin band, again, similar to what you'd find on a G-Shock. It does have this sort of wave, or I guess channeled pattern there. So it's going to breathe really well on your wrist if you're getting sweaty and stuff like that, like I did earlier. It breathes really well, so it's not going to, like, suffocate your wrist or anything like that. This is, again, very similar to what you're going to find on a G-Shock. So basically, I don't want to say this is like the poor man's G-Shock, but I mean, it really is. I mean, you get pretty much all the features you get with a G-Shock. I mean, you can probably throw this off a roof and it's totally fine. So, nothing that is going to be really that much different from the G-Shock. So you do have a floating keeper here, so you're going to be able to tuck that excess in very easily. And a plastic keeper there. I don't know how well that holds up over time, but if the G-Shocks are any indication, I'm sure this will be fine. So I wear this on the 7th hole. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you can see you've still got a good bit of room there. My 7.5-inch wrist, so you could probably go up to 8.5, possibly even 9 with this watch. But again, if you have a huge wrist of 8.5, 9, even though it's 44 to 46, it does wear small. You might like a G-Shock size a little better. Some of the bigger G-Shocks, you might get a little more out of it there. So overall, would I buy this watch if it wasn't the Mission Impossible Tom Cruise watch? No, absolutely not. I would not. It's not attractive at all. The DW-5600, the Square G, looks much cooler. This is just, I know a lot of guys say that it's ugly. It is ugly, partly due to the blue writing, the electroluminescence illuminator, water resist 200M. That, I guess, rubs off over time and the watch looks a little bit more acceptable, but this is very dated. It is a very 90s style looking watch, and so if you are okay with that, then it's something that I think you might like. But again, the features on this, super great. It's very legible. Let's check out that electroluminescence. This is probably my favorite feature of this particular watch. So you push it down and it lights up kind of a bluish color. It's not that green that you would find on the G-Shock. So pretty cool there. But this is my favorite feature. If you hold down the light button, you see that? It stays lit. On the G-Shocks, it does not do that. It does that little like 1 or 2 or I think 3 seconds. I think you can set it to where it stays on. But this, you can have it lit for as long as you need to see the time. And I think that is really cool. And so there it is out in the world on my 7.5-inch wrist. Again, it doesn't wear very big at all. Wears very comfortably, just as comfortable as my DW-5600 without a doubt. I think it's just it's a really well done watch. It's very well engineered. Again, what you would expect from Casio, and getting it at this price. Amazon's price right now is $38. I mean, gosh, that's like less than a dinner, that you would go out for, so I think that's a great price for this watch. Spend a little more money, you can get a DW-5600, but I think if you're into movies and you like Tom Cruise, this is a watch that you can get and have and enjoy for many, many years. I'm sure that this will last you for a very long time. So that's all I have today, guys. Let me know if you like this watch, if you think it's ugly. Is it overrated? I mean, because a lot of guys are doing videos about it. We're jumping on the TGV bandwagon, that's for sure. Yeah, so let me know, guys. Let me know what you think. Do you have one? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Would you buy it? And I will see you next time.